If you were to travel to northern Kenya, you would find a place that is lost in time. It's often called the bush of Africa, Samburu. Tribes that are living as their ancestors did 1,000 years ago, isolated from the rest of the world, living in small villages, sleeping in huts. So isolated that most of them have never heard the name Jesus. Every decade, Islam is slowly moving south in Africa, and now this area of Samburu is on the line between Islam and Christianity. We believe that God has called us for this time and this place. Back in 2013, God scheduled a divine appointment for us with a man named Thomas, who grew up in one of these villages and slept in a hut. Right after he was born, his mother completely abandoned him in the dirt, leaving him to die. Then she just left, never to return. Eventually, she was found dead. His elderly grandmother found him in the dirt and rescued him. She cared for him and raised him as her own son, and she told him all about Jesus as he got older. Because God showed mercy and saved his life, he loved the Lord and chose to serve him for as long as he lived. His grandmother really protected him and helped him to even get an education in a town that was many miles away. Eventually, his dream of becoming a pastor was realized, and he came back to share the story of Jesus with the unreached people of Samburu. At the time we met, he had no one supporting him, not even a single church. The book of Romans explains, but how can they call on him to save them unless they believe in him? And how can they believe in him if they've never heard about him? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? And how will anyone go and tell them without being sent? That is why the scriptures say, how beautiful are the feet of messengers who bring good news. We are so grateful that God has allowed us to send Pastor Thomas. We help provide his transportation and pay him a salary and give him an allotment of money to buy food for the most elderly members of the Samburu tribe. Whenever we visit Thomas, he will take us out into the bush and introduce us to a tribe that is just starting to learn the story of Jesus, learning worship songs for the first time sung in their native tongue. So, we may not be able to speak the native language of the Samburu people, but God has allowed us the great privilege of supporting and partnering with someone who does and who knows that culture. It's a challenge trying to explain the concept of Jesus to a people that have practiced pagan traditions for thousands of years. This work is not always easy and sometimes even a little messy, but every person, every village that has received Christ now has the hope of heaven, and we get to share in their joy.